Imagine this, a courtroom abuzz with anticipation, cameras snapping away, and a thick tension hangs in the air. Chief Justice John Roberts, a legal giant, oversees a high-profile case. Facing him is a surprise figure, neither lawyer nor politician, but none other than Denzel Washington, the Hollywood superstar himself, who enters a courtroom as if onto a film set. Hushed murmurs wave through the crowds. What's Denzel doing here? The stage is set for a clash that no one saw coming. A battle of wits where Roberts, armed with his gavel and decades of legal mastery, tries to outmaneuver the charismatic star. But what unfolds is a jaw-dropping revelation of Denzel's hidden brilliance, a masterclass in legal acumen that leaves the courtroom stunned. This is the tale of how a Hollywood legend turned the tables on one of America's most influential judges. The setting is the stately halls of the Supreme Court. It's a special public hearing, a rare occasion when the court invites in a wider public as part of an effort to make the judicial process less mysterious. Denzel Washington is a guest advocate who has been invited to argue a hypothetical case on free speech in the digital age, a subject that ignites social media. The case is not real, a thought experiment meant to provoke discussion, but the stakes seem real. Roberts, whose quick mind and dry wit are legendary, is prepared to guide the proceedings with an iron fist. He's not counting on Denzel, an untrained actor, to be anything more than a witty sideshow. John Roberts replied, "Mr. Washington, it's a pleasure to have you here. Although I must say, I'm interested in how a man of the silver screen intends to find his way through the intricacies of constitutional law. Care to share with us?" Denzel Washington replied, "Chief Justice, I'm simply here to tell a story. The story of the First Amendment. Movies, speeches, tweets, they're all threads in the same tapestry. I don't have a law degree, but I know a thing or two about what makes people listen." The audience laughs, but Roberts' smile is strained. He leans forward, anticipating a chance to challenge Denzel's mettle. The case involves a hypothetical social media site, ConnectSphere, being sued for censoring a user's political postings. Denzel must defend the user's free speech right. Margaret Kleen, an experienced attorney, argues for the platform's ability to police content. Roberts, acting moderator, isn't going to let Denzel coast on charm. John Roberts said, "Let's cut to the chase, Mr. Washington. The First Amendment does not provide anyone with a free pass to speak their mind wherever they please. Private forums such as ConnectSphere are not your own personal soapbox. How do you square that with your client's argument?" Denzel Washington once said, "With respect, Chief Justice, the question isn't simply one of a soapbox. It's one of who gets to pull the plug. Connect has millions of users, a virtual town square. When they muzzle someone, it's not a personal choice. It's a public action. The First Amendment ethos is about safeguarding the exchange of ideas, not allowing a group of tech titans to be gatekeepers." The room shifts. Denzel's words weigh heavily, presented with the gravitas of the closing argument in a courtroom drama. Roberts raises an eyebrow, interested but not persuaded. He shoots back, seeking to reveal any fault lines in Denzel's argument. John Roberts, a poetic analogy, but let's discuss precedent. In Manhattan Community Access Corp., Dre Hicksai, 2019, the court held that private companies are not subject to the First Amendment. ConnectSphere is not different from a private broadcaster. Are you implying that we are going to overthrow established law? Denzel Washington, not overturn, Chief Justice. Reconsider. Hawk negotiated with a small cable network, not a platform with the power of a nation-state. ConnectSpheres had more influence than CBS ever could have imagined. When a private enterprise owns the public square, it's not business. It's a de facto government. Doesn't the law have to adapt to the times? Gasps run through the gallery. Denzel's not only holding his own, he's pushing back at the court structure with an elegance that competes with veteran litigators. Roberts, picking up on the crowd's momentum, goes full in as skeptic, his voice laced with a combination of incredulity and provocation. John Roberts declared, "Evolving law is a dangerous game, Mr. Washington. If we begin treating private companies as government, where's the line? Must every website, every blog be subject to constitutional scrutiny? You're opening a Pandora's box." Denzel Washington declared, "Perhaps it is time to open that box, Chief Justice. The line blurry because text surpassed the law. In 1791, free speech was pamphlets and town halls. Now it is algorithms and shadow ban. If we do not redraw the line, we are allowing unelected CEOs to rewrite the Constitution." The crowd explodes in murmurs. Roberts thumps his gavel, establishing order, but his eyes are fixed on Denzel's. For the first time, a flash of respect crosses the judge's eyes. He changes subjects, throwing in a curveball to find out if Denzel can follow. John Roberts explained, "Let's get down to brass tacks. Your client's tweets were marked as misinformation, fake claims of voter fraud. You're advocating their right to say what they want, but what about the damage? Should connectors be required to broadcast falsehoods that can cause pandemonium? Denzel Washington said, "Harm's real, no doubt. But who determines what's a lie? Links moderators and AI, the very platform that benefits from outrage. Letting them police truth means we're not saving democracy. We're turning it over to auction. The solution isn't censorship, it's more speech, finer arguments, sunlight." Robert smirks, obviously enjoying the sparring. He reclines, arms folded, and throws out a hypothetical to challenge Denzel further. John Roberts remarked, "More speech sounds high-minded, but let's see how it plays." Let's say Kephart puts on a post advocating violence, an example being a rally that escalates into a riot. You're arguing that the platform doesn't do anything? Let the marketplace of ideas sort it out? Denzel Washington declared, "Not nothing, Chief Justice. There's a line Brandenburg versus Ohio, 1969 uttered. Speech loses protection when it's aimed at inciting imminent lawless action and is most likely to generate it. But that's a high threshold, and it should be a vague tweet about a rally. That's not Brandenburg. If we lower the threshold, we risk stifling dissent in the name of safety." The room is charged now. Denzel's not merely citing case law. He's using it like a veteran attorney. Margaret Clean, opposing counsel, interrupts, seeing an opportunity to steal the moment back. Margaret Clean stated, "Mr. Washington's fervor is commendable, but he's skimming over reality. Sites like Connect Here receive thousands of posts each day. They can't sue everybody under Brandenburg. Policies of moderation are in place to deal with scale, not to suppress. Without them, we'd have hate speech, chaos, misinformation. You name it." Denzel Washington had this to say, "Ms. Clean, I hear you. Scale's a beast, but those policies are not neutral. They're influenced by biases, advertisers, political pressure. You're saying we need them to prevent chaos. But what about the chaos of silencing voices who question the status quo? History is riddled with falsehoods that have become fact." Roberts interrupts him, his tone more biting now, feeling the heat of debate. John Roberts stated, "Mr. Washington, you criticize moderation quickly, but have yet to provide a solution. If Connect cannot moderate, and the government cannot regulate without transgressing the First Amendment, what is your fix? Are you simply here to identify issues?" Denzel Washington responded, "Good question, Chief Justice. My solution begins with transparency. Get platforms to post their moderation policies, their stats on who gets banned and why. Let users see the game board. Second, give users a voice. Independent appeal boards, not corporate black boxes. And third, incentivize competition. Break up the monopolies so one platform doesn't hold all the cards. It's not perfect, but it's a start." The crowd is hanging on every word. Roberts, now fully invested, pushes back one last time, his voice bearing the weight of final judgment. John Roberts replied, "Transparency, appeals, competition, ambitious ideas, Mr. Washington, but they sound like policy, not law. This court handles constitutional issues. Provide me with a legal argument. Why should Connect be held to the First Amendment when it's not a state actor?" Denzel Washington once said, "Because power demands responsibility." Chief Justice, the First Amendment is in place to safeguard discourse, not only from governments, but from any entity capable of strangling it. Connect is not a state actor, but its dominance renders it a functional equivalent. Consider Marsh v. Alabama, 1946. A company town was held to constitutional expectations because it functioned as a government. Same here. Where a platform dominates the public square, it acquires a responsibility to maintain free speech. The courtroom is silent. Roberts relaxes, his face inscrutable. The other justices look at one another, visibly impressed. The crowd holds its collective breath, waiting for the Chief Justice's reaction. John Roberts stated, "Mr. Washington, I arrived here anticipating a performance. What I received was a revelation. You've provided this court and this audience with much to consider. I think we'll be discussing this day for a long time." Denzel Washington replied, "Thank you, Chief Justice. I just hope I told a story worth hearing." The gavel drops, indicating the session's end. The audience is on its feet, applauding wildly as Denzel exits, his signature smile concealing the blaze of a mind that just battled an attorney titan. Newsreaders rush to summarize the battle, their voices catching with excitement. Narrator in a court of law where words are used as weapons, Denzel Washington demonstrated that he's not just a star, he's a force. Chief Justice John Roberts attempted to push him, perhaps even humiliate him, but left with newfound respect. The Supreme Court today was not just a platform for law, it was a theater for brilliance, and Denzel stole the day. As the broadcast diminishes, social media ignites. Tweets on X declare it the debate of the decade. with Denzel's clips going viral. The drama isn't about a Hollywood legend. It's about a guy who entered a foreign territory and rewrote the script. And somewhere, John Roberts is grinning, knowing he saw a For the Ages performance.